Hey guys, my name is Kaavya and welcome to 4th grade math with Allstem. In this video, we will be going over the numbers and operations with fraction standards. We will continue with place value and learn how to use the 4 operations with fractions and decimals. As always, our videos consist of 8 to 15 review questions, and each one is timestamped in the description box below. So if you feel confident with your answer, feel free to skip to the next timestamp. If you want to review certain topics after the video, we have a links for further reference page in the description box below along with all of our questions. This page provides links with extra practice and material. Alright, let's get started with the first question. Question number 1. Both Andrew and his sister Joe were running a mile down the same road. Halfway down the road, Andrew stopped to drink some water. Joe stopped for a break every fourth of a mile. Would Andrew and Joe ever stop at the same place? Okay, so go ahead and pause the video here if you need more time with this question. The answer to this question is yes. Okay, so we're going to use this number line over here to represent Andrew and Joe's run. So we're going to represent Andrew with the color red. So it says that Andrew stops halfway down the road to drink some water. So halfway would be right around here. So this is 1/2. We're going to represent Joe with the color orange. So it says she stops every fourth. So her first stop will be 1/4, while Andrew's is 1/2. Her next stop, so 1/4 plus 1/4 is 2/4. And 2/4 is the same thing as a half. So her next stop is at the half-mile mark. And her last stop is at the 3/4 mile mark. So Joe, she makes 3 stops. Andrew, who we're just going to write A for, makes only 1 stop, and that's at the 1/2 mile. But you can see that Joe also made a stop there. So yes, they both make a stop at the same place. Okay, on to the next question. Question number 2. Liz and her sister Nancy are both painting. Liz covers 6/8 of her canvas in blue paint. Nancy wants to do the same thing, but instead of dividing her canvas into 8 parts, she divides it into 4 parts. How much of her canvas does she need to paint blue if she wants her canvas to look like her sister's? Okay, so pause the video here if you need more time to figure this question out. The answer to this question is 3/4. So we're going to use this number line to represent their canvas. So this leftmost line is the leftmost side of the canvas. This rightmost line is the right side of the canvas. Okay, so we're going to label the 8s. It's already divided for us, but we're going to label it. So this is 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, and 7/8. So now we're going to take the blue and represent about how much Liz covered her canvas. So she covers 6/8 of her canvas, and 6/8 is around here. So we're gonna go. That's 6/8 of her canvas. That's how much Liz covered. So now we're gonna look at the same canvas. So Nancy's canvas is the same size, except she divided hers into fourths. So this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. This one is 4/4. So we're gonna write this under 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So now we can see that the 6/8 Liz covered in her canvas is equal to 3/4. So 3/4 equals 6/8. So if Nancy wants to cover the same amount of her canvas in blue paint as Liz did, and Liz covered 6/8 and Nancy divided her canvas into 4 parts, she just has to cover 3/4 of her canvas in order for it to look the same. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 3. Caroline is running with her daughter Kathleen. Caroline runs 3/4 of a mile before stopping, while Kathleen runs 2/3 of a mile before stopping. Who ran the farthest before stopping? Okay, so pause the video here if you need more time for this question. The answer to this question is Caroline. Okay, Just like we did with the past two questions, we are going to use a model. Okay, so Carolyn, she ran 3/4 of a mile. So we're going to split this number line into 3/4. So 3/4, she ran about up till here. So now 2/3, so we're going to split the Kathleen's line into thirds. We're going to draw. So using this model, we can see that Carolyn ran more than Kathleen did. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 4. Olivia, Rose, and Patricia went to the movies, where each one of them got their own buckets of popcorn. Halfway through the movie, Olivia finished 3/6 of her bucket, Rose finished 3/8, and Patricia finished 1/4. Order them from who ate the least to who ate the most amount of popcorn. Okay, so pause the video here if you need more time with this question. The answer to this question is Patricia, Rose, Olivia, ordered from least to greatest. Okay, we're going to start off by comparing Olivia and Rose. So Olivia, she ate 3/6 of her bucket, and Rose ate 3/8 of her bucket. So we see here that the numerators are the same. So when you're comparing fractions and the numerators are the same, you're just going to compare the denominators. And so the greater the denominator, the more amount of pieces, which means the smaller each piece is, which means the smaller the value of the fraction. So we're going to look at the denominator, and in the fraction on the right, you see that the denominator is 6. The fraction on the left, the denominator is 8. So the higher the number, the smaller the fraction in the denominator. So that means 3/6 is greater than 3/8 because 8 is greater than 6. So it's the opposite, which means Olivia ate more than Rose. So now we're going to compare Rose and Patricia. So Rose, she ate 3/8. Patricia ate 1/4. To make this easier, we're just going to convert the fourths into eighths. So 1/4 is equal to 2/8. So Rose ate 3/8 and Patricia ate 2/8. So with this fraction, you see that the denominators are the same. So when comparing fractions and when the denominators are the same, you're just going to compare the numerators. And the numerators kind of work opposite to how the denominators work. So the greater the numerator, the greater the amount of pieces, which means the greater the value of the fraction. So we're going to look at the numerator, and we're going to see that the fraction on the left has 3 in the numerator, the fraction on the right has 2 in the numerator. And because 3 is greater than 2, that means 3/8 is greater than 2/8, which means Rose ate more than Patricia. And if Olivia ate more than Rose, and Rose ate more than Patricia, and we have to order them from who ate the least to who ate the most, we're going to write Patricia down first, then Rose, and then Olivia ate the most. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 5. Christina buys beads which fill up 7/8 of a box and adds it to her already existing collection. After adding the new beads, Christina has 3 4/8 boxes which are filled with them. How many beads did she originally have? Okay, so pause the video here if you need more time to figure this question out. The answer to this question is 2 5/8 boxes. So we're going to solve this question using 2 different methods, and we're going to start off by using this model over here. So it says that the new beads she bought fill up 7/8 of a box. So this red, we're going to use that to represent the new beads. So we're going to fill in 7/8. So this is 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, and 7/8. Okay, and it says after adding the new beads, Christina's bead collection fills up 3 4/8 boxes. So 3 4/8 boxes ends right here. So we're going to fill the rest of this in with orange. And so the orange, it represents the beads she originally had. So to find the number of beads she originally had, just count the number of orange portions. So you have 1/8 in the first box, plus 8/8 or 1, plus another 1, plus 4/8. When you add that together, you'll get 2 5/8. Okay, now we're going to do this question using an equation. We're going to solve it using an equation. Okay, so to find the number of beads originally had, you're just going to subtract the number of new beads from the beads in total. So the beads in total is 3 4/8, and we're going to convert that into an improper fraction. And when you do that, you'll get 28/8. So now we're going to subtract the 7/8. So we're going to take 28/8 and subtract 7/8 from it. And when you do that, you'll get 21/8. And 21/8 is just equal to 8/8 plus 8/8 plus 5/8, which is 1 plus 1 plus 5/8, which is 2 5/8. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 6. Preston practiced the trumpet for 1 2/3 hours today. His goal was to practice for 2 1/3 hours. How many more hours does he have to practice in order to achieve his goal? Okay, so pause the video here if you need more time with this question. The answer to this question is 2/3 hours. So we're going to first solve this question using this timeline over here. And in this timeline, each one of these sections represents a third. Okay, so it says he's already practiced his trumpet for 1 2/3 hours today. So we're going to mark that on the timeline. And it also says that his goal is to practice 2 1/3 hours, which we're also going to mark on the timeline. So now to find out how many hours he has left to practice, we're just going to count the number of parts. And so he has 2 parts, and since each part is equivalent to a third, it's 1/3 plus 1/3, we have 2/3. So he has to practice 2/3 hours. So now we're going to solve this question using an equation. So to find the number of hours he has left to practice, just subtract the numbers of hours he's already practiced from his goal. Okay, so his goal is to practice 2 1/3 hours, and as an improper fraction, that is 7/3, which is given to you right over here. If he's already practiced 1 2/3 hours, we have to convert that into an improper fraction as well, and that is 5/3, which is also given to you in this timeline. So now all we have to do is subtract the 5/3 from the 7/3, and when you do that, you will get 2/3 hours. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 7. Reed ran for 2/3 of a mile. Her friend Charles ran twice as far as she did. How many miles did Charles run? Okay, so pause the video here if you need more time with this question. The answer to this question is 4/3 miles. So we're going to start off by solving this question using a model. So this whole box, it represents a mile. So if Reed ran 2/3 of a mile, just fill in 2 of them. Now Charles, he ran twice as far as she did. So we're going to fill in 2/3 here and another 2/3 here. So now, because we're given a model, all you have to do is count. So 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3. So Charles ran 4/3 of a mile. Okay, now we're going to solve this question using an equation. So we know that Charles ran 2 times as much as Reed did. And we know that Reed ran 2/3 of a mile. So Charles ran 2 times 2/3. And when you multiply fractions with a whole number, you're going to multiply the whole number to the numerator. So that means is Charles ran 2 times 2 over 3. And now we're just going to multiply these two together, which is 4. And then we're going to keep the denominator as it is. So 4/3. Charles ran 4/3 of a mile. Question number 8. Erica is making ribbon bracelets, and each bracelet she makes requires 2/3 of a foot of ribbon. After she is done, she has made 7 bracelets. How much ribbon did Erica use in total? Okay, so pause the video here if you need more time with this question. The answer to this question is 14/3 feet. So just like we did in the last question, we're going to start off by using a model. Okay, so each one of these big blocks represents a foot of ribbon. and there's 7 of them because she made 7 bracelets. So to represent the amount of ribbon she used for each bracelet, we're just going to color in 2/3 for each one. Okay, and so this is the last one. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to count them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So Erica used 14/3 feet of ribbon. Now we're going to solve this question using an equation. So we know that she made 7 bracelets and each one requires 2/3 feet of ribbon, and we're trying to find the amount of ribbon she used in total. So R is going to represent the amount of ribbon she used in total, and that's going to equal 7 times B. And B is the amount of ribbon she used for each bracelet. Okay, and we know that B is equal to 2/3 because she used 2/3 of a foot of ribbon for each bracelet. So R is 7 times 2/3. And again, so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 7 times the numerator. So R is equal to 7 times 2 over 3. Now we're going to multiply the numerator out, which is 14, and we're going to keep the denominator thirds. The answer is 14/3. If you wanted to make this a proper fraction, 14/3 is equal to 4 2/3. So either way is fine. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 9. Stephanie swam for 3/10 of a mile on Monday. On Tuesday, Stephanie swam for 54 1/100ths of a mile. And on Wednesday, she swam for another 19/100ths of a mile. To the nearest hundredth in decimal form, how many miles did Stephanie swim in total? Okay, so pause the video here if you need more time with this question. The answer to this question is 1.03. So this model to the right represents Stephanie's swim. With the light blue representing how much you swam on Monday, this darker blue represents how much you swam on Tuesday, and this really dark blue represents how much you swam on Wednesday. Okay, so we're going to talk about decimals. Okay, so we already know that when you go to the left, you multiply by 10. So this is the ones place, the tens place, hundreds place, so on. Okay, so when you go to the right, that means you divide by 10. Okay, so again, hundreds place, tens place, ones place. So now when you get to the ones place and you want to continue, what you do is you add this decimal point right here, and then you continue. So this is the 10th. So 1 divided by 10 is 1/10. So this is called the tens place. When you have a 1 in the tens place, that's the same as 1/10. And then this is the hundreds place, so 100th, and so on. Okay, so now we are going to convert all of these fractions in the word problem into decimals so that you can add them. Okay, so we're going to start off with Monday. On Monday, she swam for 3/10 of a mile. So the tens place is right after the decimal, so that's 0.3. On Tuesday, she swam for 54 1/100ths of a mile. So that's 0.54, because 54 hundredths is the same thing as 5/10ths and 400ths. And then on Wednesday, she swam for 19/100ths of a mile, so that's 0.19. So now to find out how much you swam in total, you're just going to add them. So when you're adding decimals, you basically add them the same way as if you were adding regular numbers. And then you have 0.3. And then just put a 0 there so it makes it easier. Okay. So you have 9 plus 4, which is 13. So you're going to put 3 here and you're going to carry the 1 over. Then 1 plus 5 is 6, plus another 1 is 7, and then plus 3 is 10. So that's 0. And then you're going to carry this decimal point down. And since it's 10, you're going to carry that 1 over. 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 1. So that's your answer, 1.03 miles. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 10. Ben's house is 1.24 miles away from school. His friend Matthew lives 0.83 miles away from school. Who lives farther from the school? Okay, so pause the video here if you need more time with this question. The answer to this question is Ben. So we're going to use that model over there to represent the distance from school from each of their houses. So school is at 0. So Ben lives 1.24 miles away from school, so that's going to be a little after 1 mile. So we're going to say Ben lives right around there. Matthew, he lives 0.83 miles away from school, so that would be right around here. And so just looking at the model, you can see that Matthew lives closer to the school, which means Ben lives farther. But let's say you did not want to draw a model. All you have to do is compare the numbers and see which one is greater, because that's distance. So the person with the greater number, that means they live farther. Okay, so when comparing decimals, it's the same as comparing regular numbers. So we're going to start off with the greatest place value, which in this case is the ones place. So with this number, the ones place is 1. And this number, the ones place is 0. And since 1 is greater than 0, that means this number on the left is greater. And so this is how far Ben lives from school. So Ben lives farther from school. Question number 11. For breakfast, Alice drank 0.21 ounces of juice. Her sister Zola drank 0.4 ounces of juice. Who drank more juice and by how much? Okay, so pause the video here if you need more time to work on the question. The answer to this question is Zola drank 0.19 ounces more than Alice did. So that model to the right just shows how much juice each one of them drank, but we're not going to use that, and we're going to use simple arithmetic. So we're going to start off by comparing the numbers because we want to see who drank more juice in the first place. Okay. So just like we always do, we're going to start off with the greatest place value, and in this case, it's the ones place. In both numbers, the ones place is a 0, so we're moving on to the next place value. So this is the 10th place, and the number on the left, the 10th place is 2, and the number on the right, the 10th place is 4, and since 4 is greater than 2, 0.4 is greater than 0.2, which means Zola drank more than Alice drank. Okay, now we are subtracting because we want to find out by how much. So when subtracting decimals, it's the same as subtracting regular numbers. We're going to start off with the smallest place value, which is the hundredths place. Since you can't remove 1 from 0, you're just going to carry over. So this becomes 3, and this becomes 10. And 10 minus 1 is 9. Okay, next place value, 3 minus 2 is 1. And then we're going to carry the decimal point down. That's another 1. And then 0 minus 0 is 0. So Zola drank 0.19 ounces more than Alice did. I hope that this video was a good review of these standards. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, feel free to check out our links for further reference page if you want more practice. If you have any more questions, let us know in the comments down below. If this video was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.